Hey, welcome back to the third part of the Brrrr, which is rent. First we had to buy, then we had the rehab, and now we're moving on to the rent. Rent's very important, just as the others. So we'll go over a few things about rent. First of all, if you're in a property to about $100,000, you need to be able to rent it out for at least $1,000. That is called the 1% rule, and that's a standard in the industry. I'm not saying it's a rule or well, it's called a 1% rule, but it's a rule you have to stick to. But to get a lot of the lending that you're going to want, whether it's a conventional loan or a DSCR loan, you're definitely going to want to meet the 1% rule. It puts you in a really good place as far as your numbers. The other thing with rent is make sure that if you're managing yourself, that you find qualified tenant and just don't take the first person that comes and sees it. I would always suggest newer investors to try to do the property management if they're comfortable with it, if they want to learn about it, because it really helps you with a lot of part of the business. As I grow my portfolio, I'm definitely getting to the point where I want to hire a property management or start my own property management, just because it takes a lot of time and it stops me from growing my portfolio. It stops me from time I can be spending on acquiring new properties and doing them rehabs and stuff like that. So rent's pretty straightforward, as far as you have to rent it for more than it costs you. You have to also keep reserves for capital expenses or capital improvements in case a roof needs to be redone, in case a new HVAC system, and so on and so on. Now, you should, if you knew that you were going to be close to a roof or HVAC or any major repairs, you need to consider that when buying the house, because you don't want to overspend knowing that you're going to have to put money into it. A lot of people, when they buy houses for rentals, they're already empty, so you can go in and make them repairs anyways. But just remember, you got expenses like if you pay utilities, and then you have minor repairs, fixing toilets and stuff like that. That little couple $100 stuff can add up. So if you are buying an empty house and rehabbing it, make sure you do everything correct, for you don't have to come in and fix some stuff all the time. Also, make sure you have some reserves in case the property's empty for a month or two, or when people move out and you have to go in and you have to do, not rehab, but you have to touch everything up, maybe new paint, clean the flooring, clean it, and that could take a couple weeks to get all that done, and then a couple more weeks to a month to get a new tenant in. So always keep you a nice reserve. I'm not going to tell anybody what reserve they need, but I would definitely make sure you have 1 to 2 months of reserve to pay everything you need to pay. Like anything, like I said, rent's pretty straightforward. If you have any questions about rent, or I know that the question's going to come up Section 8, which I've did Section 8 before, that's fine. As long as all your numbers meet all your expectations, then you're good on rent. But like I said, if you got any questions on the rent, or even rehab or the buyer, which we have already went over, just leave it in the comments. You leave it in the comments. I can drop the email for you. If you want to talk about it, we'll talk about it. Other than that, I appreciate you guys for checking out the video. Get me on the next one when we talk about the refinance.